Hi, it's Save Sinner Saren Wild here, again with my crappy webcam on my computer. And I'm going to talk about heroes. I'm talking about heroes as it's Memorial Day weekend. And I'm originally from Colorado, and now I live in Arizona. And I'm kind of having a massive reality check about summer in Arizona. In Colorado, it has been cold all winter, and people have been in. And I try to tell people here what it's like. What happens usually is if I hear of anybody in Tucson who actually attempts to move to Colorado, they come back and they say, there was a hill and there was snow and ice, and we didn't know how to drive, and we thought we were going to die, and they moved back really quickly. And because it's pretty challenging living in Colorado. I lived there all my life. I'm actually a native. July's a little hot. Everybody tries to cram it all into June, late May, June, July, and then July, August, party, 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 and then by August, everybody's ready for it to get cold and putting on their sweaters and hoodies. It's too warm. It needs to be cold. That's Colorado. It's just the opposite here in Tucson. Summer is the slow season. Why? Because it gets to 100 degrees in the summer, or sometimes more, and that makes people sluggish and want to stay indoors. I wonder why. And people are like, "Did you survive a summer?" Yeah, I survived a summer. See, I'm live. I survived. You survived. You're from Colorado. Yeah, I survived the whole summer. Really, I'm fine. I lived. And so summer is the slow season in Tucson. The reason I bring it up is because it's Memorial Day weekend. And my little Denver, Colorado self is used to, massive amounts of barbecuing. That's what everybody does, barbecue and beer, Memorial Day weekend. And partying and going out with your family, and it's a big, big deal. Why are we doing this? What is Memorial Day about? 3-day weekend, yay. For some reason, the authorities, the powers that be, decree a 3-day weekend at the end of May, and we're all grateful, and we don't know why. It's pretty much the attitude. Memorial Day, we're remembering something. Great. It's called Memorial Day. We have a 3-day weekend, and yay, I have a 3-day weekend. Why? Why is Memorial Day? Why did the government, decree a 3-day weekend? Were they just being helpful? No. I mean, the government can and is being helpful, but there's an actual reason for Memorial Day weekend. It's not just hey, Americans, we, your government, love you. We're giving you a 3-day weekend because. And that would be really nice if there were more of that. But that's actually not why we have the 3-day weekend. The 3-day weekend is to remember heroes. The 3-day weekend is to remember heroes. And I think of the heroes of my childhood. Some of the and for my childhood, a lot of my heroes were, fictional heroes because you're a kid. And so some of my heroes were on TV and are on TV. And I think, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was actually someone I really related to and admired the character of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar. And what I liked about Buffy, what I related to about Buffy is, she's kind of like this smart, she's smart, but she's a cheerleader, and she kind of has this secret mission she can't talk about, and she's really strong and trying to live this normal life, and she has this crazy life, and she's a hero. And the series, which unfortunately I've not seen the whole series. I tried to watch it one time and just life got in the way. But the series just kind of it evolves and gets more complicated and more characters, and people join Buffy's life, but through the whole thing, she's fighting evil, and she's kind of like got a public life and a private life. And her public life is she goes to school, and her private life is she's slaying monsters. Fictional characters I admire, honestly, Marvel superheroes, the Avengers, and honestly, Guardians of the Galaxy. And what I like about the Avengers is they're fighting evil, and they're doing it in a very badass way. And but they're fighting real battles. And why does Avengers work? Avengers work because they're part of our modern storytelling. And they're part of our modern storytelling. They're like the fears and the concerns and what's in our heart. And someone conveniently threw it up on a silver screen. Someone was kind enough to make that into a movie so we could watch it. Say, yeah, I know how that feels. Go Captain America. That's how I feel about that tough boss at work, and whatever the situation. Whatever the situation. Another favorite series of mine was just literally called Heroes. And, the Save the Cheerleader. And that just fascinated me. That drew me in. And here's this cheerleader with superpowers. And, it just got real complicated. It was psychological, and it just drew me in. Those are our heroes. But what about the real heroes? I mean, the on-screen heroes are great, and we need them. We need them psychologically. We need people telling our stories. That's why there's literally always been theater. That's why the Greeks had theater. I'm sure some theater major can tell me how old theater is. It's old. It's old, old, old. It was in ancient Greece. The people who are actually doing the work. Um, for every James Bond movie, there's a James Bond. For Lara Croft, maybe there's a Lara Croft out there somewhere. And so what we have is a lot of military people. And we talk about our military people, and they come out and we say, thank you for your service. And we see them in uniform, and we literally don't know what they do. They literally never talk about what they did. And we just know how bad it was because of the scars it leaves sometimes in their bodies and sometimes in their souls. We have soldiers come home and they have broken bodies and broken souls. And we as a society are waking up. We need to take care of these people who fought for us. We need to take care of these people who fought for us and served for us. And we need to honor the ones who died for us. They're doing jobs that we can't see, so people in Colorado can have barbecues and beer, and people in Tucson can hole up for the summer. And they're heroes. And the reason our government made a 3-day weekend is to say, hey, let's remember those people. Let's remember especially the ones who died. Let's remember the ones who died. So I ran into my friend Jonathan today. Hi, Jonathan. I'm embarrassing you. And I ran into him and we were talking. And we were sitting at the bus stop. He's waiting for a bus, and I was just hanging out with him. And he said he was talking about how people are sinners. And I said, Jonathan, what you are worth, and not just Jonathan, all of you. I don't want to shake my finger at you, but all of you, what you are all worth. Yes, we're sinners and worth hell and death, like Jonathan said. But honestly, that's kind of the devil's valuation of us. God's valuation of us is He gave His Son to save us. And people just, oh yeah, right. Their eyes glaze over. That means nothing. So I said, Jonathan, if you and I were crossing a street and a bus came and I shoved you out of the way and I heroically went under the bus and I died instead of you, would you suspect maybe I cared about your life? Might expect Amy might have cared about me as she just gave her life for me. And he kind of laughed and he said, yeah. I said, so Jesus did that for you. Okay, that is the value Jesus put on your life. He died for you. He died for you. He pushed you out of the way of the bus and got hit by the bus instead of you. And that's the value He put on your life. Well, you know what? It's not just Jesus who did that. Americans, because this is for Americans who are sitting out there in their barbecue, whatever you're doing. Someone died so you could do that. Literally. And I'm not talking Jesus. Yes, Jesus did die. We're all extremely grateful for his salvation. But there's other people. There's other people besides Jesus who died for you. And they're in cemeteries with nice, neat rows of white tombstones buried under American flags. And they died. They literally gave their lives so you could sit there comfortably. And you don't know what they did. And just because you don't know what they did doesn't mean they didn't do it. So we are here to honor them. This is what Memorial Day weekend is about. We're here to honor the silent and the dead, and those whose coffins carry American flags, and rows of white tombstones, and people don't ever go. Okay? And we're here to honor the living military, and not just the military, but the police and the firefighters and the paramedics and all first responders and all those people. Soldiers have PTSD. They've gone to battle. They've seen things they can't talk about for many, many reasons. They have visions in their brains and buddies they lost and they can't tell anyone, and this builds up and eats them, and so then they're on the streets and drugs, alcohol, who knows, And we need to take care of the living, and we need to remember and honor and respect the dead, and we need to appreciate all our heroes, the ones on the silver screen, the ones in real life. All those people make sacrifices for you. So Memorial Day is say thank you. So thank you all. Thank you to all the heroes. Save the sinner, Sarah and Wild.